Good morning. Okay. In a moment, it'll be an awesome morning. My audio in. Yeah, I was so on time today. Sitting back, having breakfast, all sorts of stuff. And all right. Welcome. Let me just see if we're streaming. I don't think we are. So what's not working? We'll just see on the Facebook. So those of you for the inner circle, so the next section, do you have your clay or your dough or whatever you're going to use in proxy? Okay. We're not doing that right now, but we will be doing it after this piece. Okay. It looks like I'm streaming live on Rhombus. Okay. Well, it's not streaming live on the other pages, but that's cool. As long as we're streaming. What came into my head then? Why I giggle? You know why I giggle all the time? Because I say stuff like that. It's cool. And then in my head, I'm like, I'm nobody's fool, right? I don't share it. It's ridiculous, but that's my, I guess, my inner teenager trying to be cool. All right. Oh, Miss Lisa, did you get your hair done? You're looking all different, or is it different lighting or something? There's something going on there. You got this lighting at the back of your head. Oh. All right. Looks like you've had your hair done, or it's like actually, you know what it is? It's something about you. Something shifted in you. Yeah.
Take it.
It's like so all right. Let's get started. I'm already crying and we haven't even started yet. All right. Welcome. So we are recording, we are streaming, we have our audio. Is there anything else I need to be doing? No? We're here? All right. And see, in my head, we're here. We're queer, get used to it, because there was that, there's all sorts of things going on in my head. Remember that commercial? Maybe it's an Australian thing. Anyway, I'm not queer, but if I was, there would be nothing wrong with that, you know. Queer in many other ways, I guess. All right. Oh, where's this energy come from? What's going on with you ladies? Who else is here? You got any gentlemen today? Or anything in between? You know? All right, there are some things I wanted to share. Things that hit me in the face when I woke up this morning, and I'm going to share, because this is how we roll. I share my direct experience, but I also use it as teachings. Oh, we have so much going on. That's why, because I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited to share with you. Now, let me get rid of this screen. I don't think I need that one. Restream is on this one. Let me see if I have that chat so I can see who's on YouTube, if anyone's there. The chat. Okay. So the chat's live. So wherever you're watching from, you can say, hey, and I will see you. And for my, I'll say, I won't say ladies, but I say my inner circle crew. How's that? My ICs, my inner circle crews. Obviously, I can see you, and you let me know if you can't hear me and whatnot. So much is going on, as usual. Always is, always will be, right? Always is, always will be. There will always be, I know, like he's saying to me, I hear you. Are you going to start there? Are you going to start there? Am I going to be nice today? Am I going to be nice today? I can tell you, I woke up to people not being nice to me. And I was like, thank you. I have a teaching. Right. I'm like, give me my teachings. Give me story, right? Give it to me. Thank you. Couldn't have thought of anything more brilliant. So, in all seriousness, this is about people's lives, right? It's about your life, it's about my life, it's about our lives, it's about humanity. And back in the day when I was a bleeding heart, and yeah, okay, some of you might say I still am, but I'm less of. Hey, am I? I'm less of a bleeding heart. See ya. No, I am. Am I convincing myself or you? So who is this for? When people want from you, and this actually isn't what I was going to share. What did I put as the heading? Let me see. What did I put as the heading for this? I can't even recall. Let me see. It was integrations come not from pretending all is well. Oh yeah, this fits. But from dancing with what is. Okay. That's the topic or the heading. Now, do I always stay with the headings? Not necessarily, but probably rarely. Everything is connected. But why I chose that, I could have chosen, I have these other quotes from some of my teachings, right? Your vessel, your vehicle, your human form, honor the journey it carries. I was going to use that one because they're all relevant. I could say the journey starts with two simple words. And some of you from the other weeks, what are those two simple words? The journey starts with two simple words. I exist. So if actually, let me start here because I was going to say if I forget, but I get caught up in the energy of it, in the, in the, as the Snoop says, the gangster Holy Ghost, and we get carried away. So I have put in the topic or in the post, wherever you're watching this from, what's on, right? So we're just going to go quickly through that because it links to why I was contacted this morning. And a quote that I put on one of my Instagram, well, it's not my Instagram anymore. So let me start there. So I'm jumping around. We're going to do circle work today. My Instagram, my social media and all of that is changing. The Mystic Ministry is now the House of Unconditional Love. Some of you may have seen the picture change to the circle. And the more you hang out with me, you'll understand what this means. It's a teaching in itself, and that's why that is. But we're not going into that today. So that is the Instagram for the Jedi and the Mystic Ministry, right? For what we're calling the House of Unconditional Love, which is the ministry. So that's that side of it. My personal or my business personal is still the same. And my other Rhombus Healing Arts, obviously, still the same for now. But we do have the Academy for Conscious Evolution, which is my business. It's under the umbrella of Rhombus Healing Arts. So you don't need to know all that. Just know if some of your things start to shift, you go, who is this? Right? And you scroll down and see my little head somewhere. You go, oh, okay, that one's changed. So if you're on Instagram, that's the main one. The ministry has changed its name because now it's a house, right? It's an entity, a legal entity. So it's not just me. So in saying that, you'll see some posts that are quotes and whatnot, and somebody sent me one of the quotes about generosity. Sent it back to me and said, so I teach about generosity. It is one of the energies, the grids. At higher levels, we are learning how to be generous. Do you remember? Is everyone up with that? As a refresher, I don't want to go right into that teaching, but it's around the shoulders, one being courage, brave heart, and one being generosity. And generosity is about giving without the expectation of receiving. So we're going to do a little bit of work on this. And for those of you, I said earlier, that are in the inner circle, so you're in the paid membership, which is all of you that are on Zoom. When we go into that second bit, I want you to have your dough or your clay, or, you know, what we talked about having in. Yeah, is that possible? If it's not possible, you have to go and get it. I'll give you we'll have a little moment to go and do that, all right, in case you haven't got it. If you don't have it for some reason, you know, you could use a piece of paper and crunch it, or we'll work out other ways, because it's about the sensation and taking you into expressive therapy, right, on something that we talked about in cloud. So we're going into that a little bit more. And then on Friday, I'll talk to you about what you might need and whether that's possible to get. And if it's not possible for some of you to get by Friday, then I can change the teaching slightly. But it came through recently, and I think it would be very powerful if we could do it. And if we can't, we'll do it the following week to give you a chance to get, it's not much. Basically, I just want you to get some clay from the earth. And I don't know if I can get clay from the earth in Hawaii, because it's all sand and rock where I am. Anyway, all right. So we'll talk about that. Now, let me get back to why I'm talking about generosity, because that quote was taken and sent back to me with some words under it. Okay. And I understand, and just so you know, I don't mind that. What it's showing me is the fear and how that behavior is coming out, and what needs to be looked at. If we're blaming others for our pain and discomfort, right? That's the behavior of the wound. Where's the wound? What's the wound? Right, so we're gonna go into this a little bit more, but I just want to sort of see how the energy is coming down a little bit into, or not down, but more solid, more anchored into the teaching. But I did want to just let you know that we have the Healing Grace is this Friday the 13th at 3 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. Runs the second Friday of the month now, because we have cloud on the first and the third Fridays of the month. Okay, so I needed to rejig that a little bit. If you want to go deeper, it's Cloud Odyssey, which is like deeper reprogramming of beliefs, conditioning patterns, therapeutic, expressive group, right? The on-demand is what you're watching now, and that's from around 10 a.m. to 10:40. Sharing teachings. You know, if you're going to talk with me, we can, you know, sort of shift that a little bit. But from around, with me, ladies, around ish 10:40, we will go into the inner circle, and that's sort of discussions, sharing, teachings, Q&A for the programs like Cloud, right? If there's things that are coming up, we have this container that's held right? So it's feels a little safer. And you can find all of that on the Academy for Conscious Evolution website. So for those on Zoom, I'll put that in the chat in a moment. But for everyone else, it's in the post. You scroll down and you'll see all the links. So you can go to all of my stuff, right? It's the Academy for Conscious Evolution, or ACE, right? And it'll have all the stuff that I've just talked about in that website. The House of Unconditional Love is unconditionallove.us. So either one of those, and I will give you all the links, but unconditionallove.us is the ministries page, the website for the ministries page. If you scroll down, you'll see Eric and I, aka Kiyose and Simran, they're our spiritual names, right? And then under us will be about us, so you can get more information on those services through either one. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter which one you go to, you can still, go deeper. But just to let you know, while I'm here on that unconditionallove.us, have any of you been there yet? No?
Yeah.
Probably not. It's fairly new. I think it only was live this week. Last week, sorry. This week.
No, I haven't been there.
This weekend. That has free teachings on it. It has the core documents that are written so simply, it will challenge your brain. So those of you that are students, go and look at that first document, read it. And some of you that have maybe bought the book or had the free downloads or whatever in the past, it'll be familiar, right? So there's writings that are the core of that ministry. And they're so simple that you won't want to read it. And they're very short. So read the first one. It's just up on the website. So you go to unconditionallove.us, US, and just read that first short article, or it's actually a letter, and it's a letter to the one, it's to the one I love, or to the one, and it's sort of written in a way that is talking to, so how I would say it is to the beloved, and it's almost like writing or talking to the beloved after I've left this physical body. So keep that in mind as you're reading it. It's very straightforward and simple, but because of the simplicity of it, and you know this with the exercises and the teachings, especially the mystic teachings, they're so simple that your brain rejects them, or your ego rejects them. So I invite you to read that first one and then come back maybe next Tuesday, and we can see what that was like for you, or send me a message. Either way, it's more for students and people that have been following for a while. But if you're new and you want to look at that, so Unconditional Love to Us, and there's multiple articles that are based on those writings of where the fear and fear of love, unconditional love, those core ways of knowing. Why am I telling you this? Because what happened this morning directly relates to what I'm sharing and what's shared there. And so I think there's 7 articles there that the first one's up there. The second one you have to click. You don't have to sign up for anything, right? They're just there, free, right? You don't have to get on a mailing list or whatever. And just have a look and have a feel of it. And from my guidance for you is, as you're doing it, feel what's going on in your body, in your system. Feel where your resistance or your you're called to or you're pushed from in those words. See where you're reading something and you know the words, because this is the challenge, I guess. The words are so familiar, right? On that surface level. The depth of them, it's like sitting with it in contemplation, right? That article's nearly 30 years old. Right? They're old. You know, this is the core of one limb of the house of unconditional love, right? Where it's stemming from. And those of you that have been my students and, you know, been around for a while, how that's pulled and looked at from different perspectives to get the depth of understanding of the knowing, right? It's the feminine arm. Okay. So anyway, go and have a look. You know, if you, I mean, we're inviting you to do that. And so the introduction to the House of Unconditional Love is Saturday, December 21st. So the 1 and the 2 are very significant to this ministry. Hence the 2 and the 1 is where we're inviting you to come and basically just hang out with us and get an idea of what it is, how we're moving forward, whether you want to be part of that movement or not, right? And so that'll be on December 21st at 12 p.m. HST, so Hawaiian time. So I'll put something else out with the other times, but for now, that's that. All right, so that's what's on. You can find, so before I do that, I'm going to put it in the chat for the Zoom, the inner circle, so that you can see it too, because it's on the other things, but let's just put it here for you in case you want to copy it or whatnot. But if you're in the inner circle, I will keep you up to date anyway. Chat. See, this is why I thought I had all the time in the world. And then I thought, oh, I better get this sorted for you in case. Oh, where did that go? Hang on. It disappeared. Yeah, it will be, it should be recorded. It'll be live stream. Let me just do this so that my head doesn't, oh, it won't let me write that much. Okay. I'll have to do it in 2 messages. Multitasking, right? My head's going to explode. All right, I'll just put that one in for now. Yes, there's a new YouTube, which is actually on there. So I've just posted it. Can you see it? Right down the bottom, there's a YouTube. It's the House of Unconditional Love. There's an Instagram, Unconditional Love, the House of Unconditional Love. They're all the House of Unconditional Love. Oh, yeah, that's where we're going. 2023. Oh, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, adds up to 10. Cool. Yes, this year, 2025. This year, 2024. Oh, shoot. That weird thing's happening again, right? Is this in between? Anyway, you know, just sit with it. If it says 20, you're with it. All right. I did not write that, just saying. In my defense. All right. So let me get back on track, because this is, for some people, it's their life. It feels like life and death, right? For some people, it feels like life and death. Oh, there's so much I want to say. Which words are going to come out first? People reach out to me in their pain. I understand that. I take that on. I hold it. I don't take it on, but I hold it. I hold it gently. It doesn't mean it doesn't impact me. It doesn't mean working with your terror, your trauma, your darkest depth, the all the stuff. I'm human. And this is my role in the world. So I take responsibility. I make sure I have ways of processing, cleansing, ishnaning, Simran Ishnan, right? Cleansing, clearing, moving physically and spiritually for the remembrance of God, whatever that means to you, right? The remembrance of the beloved, for the remembrance of unconditional love, for the remembrance of Ein Sof, all there is, Hashem, whatever, Shekinah, the mother. They're not all the same, but whatever some will say universe. I personally, I'm like, well, what created the universe? I'm working with that. So, if you want to work with the universe, yeah, whatever it is, great mystery, right? For the remembrance of great mystery. Don't let that hang you up. Don't get hung up on the words. Don't get hung up on the words. I was hung up on the word. Do you know that I could not say God without cringing when I was younger? Right? There were certain words, and there may be some for you, certain phrases, certain words, certain, right? Look at that. Because why you cringe is because there's a fear there. Why you, it's because there's fear there. Why you get, when something pleasurable happens, you might get goosebumps. What do you call them?
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. Some people call them other things. Anyway, the little, right? And you may go tell a story about that. Oh, that means there's this here or that here or whatever, right? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like we put a story to it. Because if you've grown up seeing, and there is a lot of trauma in the church. There's a lot of trauma in what else? Temples and all of these sorts of places, right? Where you're putting your trust in somebody and they break your trust in some way, or in your family, your friendships. It's the same thing. And then maybe when you say that name, you have the same, I was going to say a name, but I thought, oh, I won't, because I was making it up. But then that someone might be watching with that name and think it's them. And so, but you just put that name in there and you go, you have some sort of sensorial sensation because you're thinking of that person, or somebody's talking about that person. And that person may not have done anything to you, right? That person may not have done anything to you, but you may have they may be great at what they do and you want to be great at what you do, or you want to be something like them. So there's a little resentment, and it's not to them. Or it may be you don't like what they're saying. They're talking about God and you don't believe, or you believe in a different God. I would just say, is your God unconditional? Is your God unconditional? Is whatever you believe in unconditional? What's that mean? Well, you'll learn if you come to the house of unconditional love, right? So breaking it down, because if I'm triggering you through putting up a picture, it's not even a picture of anything, a color and some words, and you're offended by that because of entitlement. Now, even that word may trigger some of you. I'm going to say, no one has to give you anything. I don't have to give you anything. Like give, like just give. I do not have to give you anything. Right? It's an expectation. It's an entitlement. So navigate that for yourself. Think about, contemplate, right? Because a lot of us, and there's particular cultures and particular, there's some of us that feel more entitled than others. And some, I was watching something the other day, and I was watching this woman's really wealthy, doing well and all the rest, but has horrendous trauma. But that trauma is still playing out in her entitlement. I was like, wow, I don't even know if she knows, if she can see that. Her trauma needed to be more and worse than everybody else's. And when somebody else was sharing their story, she's like, yeah, but this didn't happen to you. Like, my trauma. You still had your parents. My parents are dead. My mum, like horrendous stories. Mum was an alcoholic, died of alcohol, or addict, or whatever it is that your story is. Like, not taking that away. Are you using it as your entitlement to continue to remain the freaking victim? Because I can tell you, you want to swap stories? I'll swap stories. Actually, a friend of mine was swapping stories this morning. I saw her post as I was getting breakfast, and it was awesome because we got very similar stories. She's like, have you ever, and I don't know if she'll see this, but anyway, I love you. She was saying, you have those moments where you go, whoa. Many of you have those moments where you think of your life and you go, whoa. And then she started to say what she had done. And she's much younger than me. She's actually my eldest daughter's age. But she's done a lot. She's been in the Navy, she's a veteran, all the rest. We have a very similar background in what we've done, but also our trauma. And that's why we became friends. And she's got 5 kids, 2 stepkids, 3, I believe. Similar to me, right? And has done all this stuff, but was wild as wild, right? She was riding house. She would jump on bareback on wild horses. I did that as well, but I did it with bulls also, because like we're just crazy as kids. But that was just being a farm kid. We didn't have computers and phones, and we were never inside. We just were always exploring, and most of the time getting into some sort of trouble, falling out of trees or whatever. Getting kicked in the face by a horse. That happened. It nicked my face. Anyway, and we thought that was fun. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like, thinking back at your life, maybe you don't. Maybe you're like, whoa, I had a boring life. But maybe that's just story. It's all story. Do you see? How I tell a story and you go, ooh, or oh, right? It's based on your upbringing. It's based on your trauma or your attachment or your experiences. But what I'm saying is, if you're in your victim, and we're humans. We have our moments, don't we? Are you thinking? No, I don't have a moment. We have moments, right? Life feels tough, doesn't it? I was thinking, and down the track, maybe in the inner circle, I'll share with you, because it's a really good teaching. It'll probably be in a writing at some point, but when do I have time to write? It's like, but what we've been creating for years now, since 2021, this ministry, this how we move forward with that, has contracted me. And I've had some stuff in my life, but the contraction and being conscious in that contraction to be able to see, does that make sense? It's like everything hurts. Every area of your life is touched and you are pummeled. And we still did it, right? Trying to separate us, and we still may be separated, but there's all these different forces trying to destroy and corrupt and whatever. And I have this song and I keep singing it, and it is I think it's a Christian song. Now I'm not any of those religions. I'm the religion of unconditional love, right? Right? Which is everything is unconditional love in everything. But it's about these feet. So I might lose some people here, and love you, and good luck to you. It's about what keeps me going are certain words. And this one, so I told you the one about what you do while you're waiting, that's a different one. But lately it's been these beautiful feet. These beautiful feet. Why? They carry the gospel. Keep walking, keep preaching, keep teaching, right? And it's like it just keeps coming in, because whatever it is for you, it's going to be coming up. So I can be walking, sitting still. I'm walking right now. My feet hold, in the mystical aspects of the feet, they're powerful. The powerful energy at the feet. So if I was doing any type of sort of energy work with you, I start at the feet. I hold the ankles. I start at the feet. Feel that, whether it's a distance or in person, connecting to your energy. With the gurus, we sit at their feet. When if I'm working on somebody, I would have you not stand at their feet, because, particularly if there's a lot of wisdom, a lot of energy in there, because it can be a lot, right? Have any of you, I'm just thinking, in maybe a yoga, an ashram, or, even with the Dalai Lama, or, a holy man or woman, and if you sit or even are straight in front of them, there's a lot coming at you. So, or even in trance, when we do trance circles, right? I'm just going to mute so you don't keep popping up. When we do trance circles and there's the circle, the ones that are used to the energy or more used to the energy, sit directly across from the medium and the second too, because it can, you know, and often I'm one of those if I'm not the medium, but you hear them going, I'm going to throw up, I'm going to throw up, right? Because they feel sick because there's so much energy, right? So there's certain ways of knowing, bringing it back to the feet, right? And the washing of the feet, right? The anointing of the feet, oh, all of that. But this song, or these few words, the last few days have kept me just walking. Okay. So that my little human aspects don't get in the way. When people start to get scared and project, because they're going to. They're going to. So I guess I'm putting it out there. So why we are here, let me, it's not about retaliating. It's not about, I guess it's more about how we're making up the stories. So even what I'm telling you is a story. But what's a healthy story, a healthier story than what the current story is? Something's happening, or you read something, or you're asking. So let's go to what people do with me. People ask me for help, right? They ask me for help. I support them with help. But in their heads, what they're wanting, it is something completely different to, right? So if I'm there over years, just in the background, supporting, maybe I do alignments with you. Maybe you are in classes and whatnot. Do you show up for classes? Because you better believe that I know. You better believe that I remember. Do I care for me? No, I don't. Do I care for you? Yes, I do. If you're paying for classes and you don't show up, that reflects on you, not me. And the people I'm looking at, obviously that's not you, but they're, you know, do you get where I'm going? If you invest in yourself, whether that's through financial or time, some of you are sitting here. Oh, I just looked at the time, actually. We're going to switch over in a minute. Some of you are sitting here giving your time, not to me. I don't need your time, right? I'm not being mean. I'm trying to show you this is about you. How much do you invest in your wound weaving, in your womb and wound healing, right? Because a lot of you do have womb wounding, those divine feminine, you know, that are rising, right? There are womb woundings. If you tell me, maybe I won't go there. Let's say it a different way. So this is why I'm saying this is what's on offer. You can turn up here. I ask every week, are there any questions? Are there any, right? Check the chat. Are there, like, what do you want to talk? Nothing. Crickets. And then you complain, not you, but those of you that do. I show up for you. You're not showing up for yourself. Then blame me. Fine, I can hold it. Should I? Is it my responsibility to hold your projection of your woundings? Is it? Like, I mean, and then look at that for yourself. Do you do that for others? How's that in your relationships? Right? When disappointments come, how do you handle them? When disappointments come, how you handle them will determine how you move forward, how you walk. Will determine whether the beloved, so this is for me as well, this is some of my stuff, right? Whether the beloved trusts me or trusts you with more. Can you be trusted with that relationship? Can you be trusted with that business? Can you be trusted with more money? Can you be trusted with that child? Can you be trusted with whatever it is that you're wanting and not getting? And then are you like, I'm not coming at you. If you're feeling it, it's in you. Go in, experience it. What's coming up for you? Because that wounded place, that broken heart, is what's coming up and out in every relationship. And if you're continually going around telling story that it's that person or that place or that TV show or that president or that prime minister or that spiritual teacher or that whatever it is, you're not taking any responsibility for your life. You're being that victim again. You're being that, whatever you want to call it. I mean, we don't want to blame the victim, but where's the responsibility come in? If I worked, when I was working, in an organization as a social worker and trauma and whatnot, if I got phone calls, which I did daily, I got phone calls, people screaming at me down the phone in such pain and sadness and sorrow. Calmly, I always had my candle lit. I'd light my candle because all that crap is going into that flame. But we call people, we come to people in our pain and we bleed all over them and then expect them to be able to, okay, let me love you, right? It's hard for the best of us. It's hard for the best of us, right? I would hear them yell, especially the grandmothers, because I often worked with the generational, communities, and there's generational abuse and whatnot. So I'd be working with the children, and maybe the parents are in prison, and the grandparent, whatever, the grandmother would call screaming and going on. And I'd just say to her, if you continue to scream and yell, I'm going to hang up. She would continue screaming and yell. I'd go, okay, let's just hang up. And they'd call back again, and I'd say, again, here to help you if you scream at me. So if you keep stabbing me with your words, I'm not going to take that word. Remember I taught you about the knives and we stab ourselves with the words? I don't do that. You're throwing blades at me, I'm going to put the blade down. End of story. In those situations, right? Until she calls and said, and still angry and whatever, but not at me. I had nothing, right? Mad at the system, mad at the police, mad at the whatever, but spewing onto me. And you think about how many phone calls I would get a day, or I'd turn up at your house and you're doing that to me, right? Yeah, it was my job. I got paid very little. And those in those services know, right? So, some love to you, because, same with nurses and whatnot, they're attacked all the time and spat on and all the rest of it, have to, do all the messy, and they're paid very, very little. So respect, right? But where we put our boundaries, But ultimately, if I was continually taking that, I'm disrespecting myself. It's nothing to do with the outside. So ultimately today, what I'm talking about is where you're disrespecting yourself, where you're not taking responsibility for your own story, your creation of your story, right? So if you're demanding me to help you in a way that is like some of you are paying hard-earned money for, right? And you're demanding that I do that for you because you've been asking me for a while. Okay, so there's the story. Because of the story, you can't see what I'm giving you. How many times am I putting out free calls? Call me. How many times am I putting out free calls? Oh, I'm coming now. I'm coming, ladies. I'm coming. It's like, where can you not see where the world is lifting you up? But because of your story, you're blinded by the trauma in your binoculars or your glasses, right? But some of you are zooming in to that one point, and all you can see is the crap, dirt, mud, which isn't bad. It just makes the lenses a bit blurry, right? We have free, all this stuff. Do I see you? You're probably not even on, so whatever. But I'll hear in the emails and I'll hear in the messages, right? Come on, this isn't about me. This isn't about me in that way. It's about me taking responsibility for me, but it's also about you taking responsibility for you. So this beautiful experience this morning started me thinking about what we don't see, what we can't see, what we're not able to work with because we're blinded by the pain and the story. We can make up story, right? I heard somebody say rejection is God's protection, right? Ever heard that? Rejection is God's protection. Could be. Could also be your wound, right? Your wound, or both. If it's still somewhere in your psyche, if there's still somewhere in your consciousness, unconsciousness, subconscious, right? Then whatever you do, I don't know, I'm going to bring you back up again, but whatever you do is going to have the same outcome, right? My friends are all like this. Real? Okay. Common denominator. All my relationships, they all treat me as a common denominator. I'm just saying. All my jobs, all my experiences, common denominator. Come on. This is what we're here to do. We're not here to attack. We're not here to make you feel like crap. We're here to trigger so that you can see and get ready to heal, to let go, to surrender, to acknowledge, to accept, to build what? A new relationship with yourself through the sensation of the years, right? So we're going over. I'm just, but we'll go into. So I'm going to bring it into. Think of something that's challenging you right now, or bring it, but bring it to mind, right? Something that, well, whatever it is, but not from the past. Something right now. that's challenging you. It might be something about what I've just said, right? And for those of you, you can journal it, you can write it down, you can draw it, you can mold it, you can paint it, you can dance it, you can drum it, you can, right? You can do all of that. To shift something, it's about having some discipline. Some discipline, right? Meaning having to do it every day. So I've had people say, oh, you gave me some stuff to do and it didn't work. Did you do it just once? Did you do it once and think your whole nervous system is going to be magically healed and all the wounds of 40 years are just going to flit away? And your behavior, your patterns or your habitual patterns from beliefs and conditioning patterns over that 40 years or whatever, 30 years, 50 years, is just going to magically restore? Come on. What story are you telling yourself? To run a triathlon or a marathon, you need to train. If you're learning to swim, you need to train. I was thinking about this morning and we'll talk about this. You know who you are. My voice lesson, you know, although I haven't been getting a sore throat, so maybe that's why I haven't been thinking about it, right? But the exercises for, you know, to sing or for your throat, I had to sort of think really hard what one of them was this morning. I'm like, oh, see, because there's no discipline in the practice. And then if I get a sore throat, maybe in half an hour, well, that didn't work. That exercise didn't work. Well, have you been doing it? Do you get what I'm saying? Well, this relationship's not working. Is that right? Are you just sitting back and expecting it all to just magically happen? Or you planted some beautiful blooms and they haven't sprouted. Did you forget to water them? Are they in soil, sand, clay? What's the foundation? What's the environment for the growth? Many of us are in relationships that are comfortable, but they're stagnant. They've stopped. We're not even speaking to each other. You know? I mean, that can be nice in some levels. Then there's other levels where it's indifference. It's indifference. There's just no care anymore. You're just stagnant in that, right? Or a job or a business or a whatever it is. So today really is about responsibility. Like, where are we not, and don't, you see, I know a lot of people have had people over the years that their biggest fear was around taking responsibility, you know, which was a fear of survival or not surviving. Being responsible, not taking on responsibility for others' behavior, but how you respond to it, how you are within it. If you're triggered by it, what's the wound? So you can every day prepare your mind, prepare your body, turn your scars into stars. All the woundings, right? Let me just check this chat. Yeah. So allow the process. It's slowing it down. And I'm just going to give you this bit and then we'll switch over and we'll go into our next little teaching. But slowing down, allowing the process, allowing it to process in the process. allowing the space for the Ishnan, the cleansing, clearing, shifting, for the information to go through. So those of you that know that the cycle where you get stuck and then you're responding in a way that's based on the pain. So it's more of a reaction, right? So take time, pay attention. Give it some space. Check in to see if you are working from the wounds. So what that sensation is. So do that. Take that piece, that challenge. So what is it for you? Just bring that in. Is it you have time restraints, maybe sitting here, listening to me go round and round, just bringing up something. Maybe you're sitting here watching because you're procrastinating and should be doing something else, or you feel that you should be doing something else, right? That feeding your soul. Somewhere in you, you know the importance of taking care of self. Yet there's a bunch of things ruminating, the thoughts, right? The sensation is the fear. The thought comes, and the thought with the sensation is the emotion. And then we start to add on the story, the memory, right? The visions, so we bring it back. I started with the two words, the I exist. And just sitting in that I exist. And even if you can only stay in that center before the expansion, because that is the expansion contraction of life. The love and the fear, the heaven, the earth, right? Just being that for a second. And then the other stuff comes in again. All right, come. The I exist. It's a practice. You could make it a practice. And notice when you are in that, coming back into I exist, what that feels like, what the sensation in the body is. If there's a thought that comes with, and there will be, but what type of thought? Like, just observe, and it will be practice. Some of you will be masters at it. Some of you, it's a practice, because you'll even to say I exist, for many of you, it will really challenge you. Right? Your existence, I exist. None of the story is there when you just exist. And some of you are saying, you know, complaining about your existence. Right? We do as humans. It hurts. It's hard. We can't see a way through. You know, we're restrictive financially, maybe even at these times. I don't know. Right? I had a little, I guess it's a human moment. I was thinking about, because someone mentioned all the sales and stuff, and I haven't seen any of it. I'm like, I just haven't seen any of it. I'm like, oh, all the deals I might have missed, but like, really? Ignorance is bliss, I guess. I don't know. Right? Yeah, what's the story? There's a whole bunch of story I just told you. Don't miss out. What's your story? So for the piece that's troubling you or challenging you, just bring that to mind for a moment. Just for a moment. Breathe it. And then feel what the sensation is. Is it in your head, your neck, your heart, your face, your stomach, your gut, your back, your arms, your legs, your toes, your teeth, your eyes? Like, what do you feel as a sensation? Just stay with that for a moment. Because that's the charge, the fear through the nervous system, through the energy, through the physicality, comes up physiologically through the nervous system to say, hey, here it is, here's the information, here it is, here it is. Can you exist with that sensation? Just for a moment, just let's experiment. It's okay if you can't come in and out of it, but let's just experiment. We haven't done this way before, right? So bring it in, feel the sensation. Maybe the sensation's shifted just purely because you brought awareness to it, consciousness to it. So you may just have to sit with it, bring it back in. Like, what is that challenge? What else about that challenge? See where you don't have to go full on into the story. Just as soon as you bring up something that's challenging you, there will be a sensation. Slow it down so that you can feel it. Some of you feel it intensely and probably don't want to feel it. And others of you will find it difficult to connect to the physical body. You are masters at not feeling to survive. So wherever you are, it's okay. It's perfect. And just practice. Be curious. And so when you have a sensation, it could be just a tightening or restriction in your back, in your bottom, in your pelvis, in your thighs, could be in your neck, your ear. It doesn't matter. Where do you feel it? Some may feel it in the energy. I'm going to invite you to stay with the physical body, because that can be part of trying to move away from or get out of the fear. And now just bring in that. So you've got the sensation and you exist. It's life. And just witness how comfortable or uncomfortable that is, to be able to just purely be with the sensation of life. Because fear of love, love and fear, human experience. I exist. Here I am. Okay. If you've got major things, take a piece of it, just a piece. If you've got things that you've been working on or wondering how you can work on them, connect with me. You can join us in Cloud Odyssey. We go through this and we work through it. We give you practices, give you experiences, give you understanding so that you can exist. You can purely exist while it all is happening. Building relationship, a new relationship to love and fear. Fear, and the fear of love. So the sensations, the constrictions, the challenges of the physical, and then into the emotional and the other faculties. So just taking that time, paying attention and being with the wisdom. Not having to know or do. Just practice being in that. In that. It's 11:11. So we will start wrapping that up. But practice that. And you can do it at any time. It's like, you know, whenever you feel something, the thing is that we humans get caught in the story, in the thoughts and in the emotions. If we can catch it, take it back to the sensation, because that's the first spark. Look, there it is. And when we practice being with the sensations of fears, we can have a new relationship with it. We no longer have to be going into the story and the projection and the behaviors. Many years ago, around 30 years ago, and you'll see it on the website, I said it again, because all my research in the past, whatever discipline I've been in, has been, even contemporary art and visual arts and whatnot, has been around this curiosity around the behavior and sharing with people that behavior is language. How we are, how we behave, how we, work at these outer circles into the world is a language. So you may not say anything to the person, but the way you hold yourself, the way your feet touch the earth, touch the ground. Are you quiet? Are you thumping? Maybe people can't hear you, right? This is what people used to say to me for years. For most of my life, people couldn't hear me coming. I was so stealth, which was great, in some of the roles I had. But I would scare people because I'd just turn up and they'd be like, oh, they don't hear me. Like I walk so softly, so gently. No, it just is. I was light, I was in the right. I wasn't grounded. And some people are thumpity thump thump. A lot of people I know that I love dearly. You hear them coming a mile away. Thump, thump, stomp, stomp. Right. So, how we hold ourselves, how we, I'm not saying one's better or worse. I'm just saying there's the love and fear, I guess, the heaven and earth. So where are you and what's happening for you? So you could journal, draw it, get your colors out, get your crayons out, even scribble while you're contemplating what just happened for you, or that challenge and how it sat in your body. For some of you, do that, or paint, or sing, or dance, or go for a walk, or however you want to process. Some of you will be practicing sitting in the I exist. That's your meditation. And there's a lot of people who that is just too difficult to do right now. So that's why I'm giving you alternatives, right? Okay, when I think or bring that challenge to mind, I feel it in my body. That's the fear. That's the charge, the energy of the fear. Can you just be with that for a moment without thinking, going into story and whatnot? They're the extension of the practices, but just starting with slowing down, taking the time. How many of you, contemplate this for yourselves? How many of you have got to a place? And I was going to say this is my familiar place from over time, right? Where stuff's going on in the world, or in your life, or even with your health or whatnot, and you can't see a way out. You cannot see a way out. And it may not be there right now, but I'm sure as a human, there would be a time where you just felt, and if not, someone you love, someone around you, they've been to that place where they can't even move. They don't know what to do. There's no way out. There is, but sometimes we start with surrendering, right, to the I exist, or to the beloved. Surrender it. Another option is to, when my daughter was in hospital years ago now, and we didn't know she was going to leave every day. We didn't know. And I would take her to the Sacred Heart. I'd offer it up. What is it that's here that I feel is too much for this little human to hold right now? I've held it all day, and in the evenings, this was my process every single day. I'd go to the park next to where I was staying, and I'd sit on that park bench by myself, and all of, because that's my role in my family, in my community, in everything, that I'm supposed to be the strong one. I'm supposed to hold everybody's stuff, right? Everybody's breaking down around me, and I'm the mum. But I couldn't. I had to hold it. So I would take it each afternoon or evening to the park bench. I would sit on that park bench, and I would cry, and I would gather that pain and what I was, the fears, and I would take it through the Sacred Heart. So it's a meditation where you just come to, so the Sacred Heart is slightly left of the physical heart and about a hand's width into the body, right? And if you just have the intention of, where's my Sacred Heart? And just try and find it now. Like, is there a sensation? Do you get, and some of you won't be able to feel it, and that's okay. But it is a process. When we take that sort of emotional sort of challenge to the physical heart, it's too much. We're not taking any of our difficulties to our physical heart. We take it to the Sacred Heart. The Sacred Heart is that doorway, and we can offer it up, right? That's what got me through the months of not knowing. That's what kept me showing up every morning to support everybody else and be there to sit by my daughter's side. Now, the beloved did send me a message at some point, and I've talked about it before, but just in passing, and I knew she was going to be okay. I knew. Right? And I was shown that she would go on to help humanity and do great things. And she has. So, but before I got that message or got that knowing, I had to work with that emotion. With my girl being in hospital on all those machines, in intensive care, all the tubes and not knowing. So I did my system. I kept myself, my energy humming. I did the processes. I processed my fear so I didn't vomit it onto everybody else. I know that's a harsh word, but I didn't behave it onto others, right? There's no perfect way of doing that. Trauma, these sorts of experiences, or even if it's like, you owe a lot of money. Maybe you owe money to people and it feels like you're out of integrity. That feeling is horrible too. Do you see what I mean? Or if, there's whatever your challenge is, you can utilize the tools because they ultimately go all the way back to love and fear. And how we can process the fear of fear, which is our survival fear. So the stuff that I was just talking about. Or your fear of love, when, there's people trying to give to you and or you get what you really wanted. How many of you have gotten the relationship? Oh, it's right in front of you. The people who can help you, the stuff there to help you, right? But you can't see it. You can't see it yet. They're literally right in front of you. They may be your partner, your children, your neighbor, me, right? And you can't see it because we're in our, I don't know which one to call that. We're in that, the fear. We're in that darkness, or the black hole between, if you know the numbers, the 2 and the 3. Right? I exist is number 1. Soul, body, soul in the body, the vehicle, I exist. And then we want to start moving into the 2, which is time, and 3 is space, but there's all sorts of other aspects to these numbers. But once we start expanding into the world, we get lost. Some of us get lost. We lose sight of the 1, the I exist. We lose sight of the point, the connection, the gate to all that is. Connection to the mother. So, Simran Ishnan Kaur, right? Technically means the spiritual princess who cleanses and clears karma for the remembrance of God. But, I had a little on the princess bit, so I say the one who, but it's not about me. It's about what it means. What you just did, what we just did, is that identifying a challenge, how it comes in, processing it, clearing, cleansing, working, being with, accepting, acknowledging, right? For the remembrance of God, because that's in the way. It's in the way. And when you wake up in the morning, maybe you're as clear can be, and you have this, I am that I am. Right? And then as you go through the day, you put all the coats on, and others of you will wake up going, I got to do it, right? And as you go through the day, you take the coats off. And some of you are maybe something in between. The thing is, it's every day. Every day. If you're training for the triathlon of life, I used to say, were any of you around when I used to say I'm the Olympian of spirituality? Like I'm an Olympic athlete. What do you need to do? I'm a retired Olympian now. I just train for my, right? Because I have the muscle memory now. Right? But if you don't have the muscle memory, you need to create the muscle memory. So at the moment, I'm using the triathlete or the marathon because, you can do a 5 or 10K. Maybe not right now. In your spiritual run, what are your feet going to do? How are your feet going to carry the wisdom, the word, the whatever it is that you're here to carry, right? Train. What's your training? And it's tough for some of us that do not like structure. Do not like structure. Or we think we don't like structure, because I say that a lot. But then you get me in a, I was having a meeting about the ministry the other day, and all of that sort of stuff. And I was the one who was like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like a ninja. Chuk, 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 chuk. This is what we're going to do. Bam. And when, but for once I have the structure, so you might be opposite, or you might be like that. So thinking about how we say and what we say, how true that is. Right? And sometimes, I want to get away with a few things because it's funny, right? I just think it's funny. I'm like, just give me that one, just that one, right? Just give me that one. All right, so we'll leave it at that for the live. I went well over time. You're welcome. And we'll pop over and we'll do about, I don't know, till 11:40 ish. We're going to do a process. It might go longer, and you could do longer on your own or stop and then carry it on. But we're going to do the process that I was going to teach you last week, and then realized it was the last week of the month, and we don't do these last week of the month. So we had that week off. So we're going to pick up from there and go deeper with the processing so that you can get information. So when we come to class on Friday, you'll have another layer, right? Another layer of information of the book or the chapter of yourself, right? Rewriting the book. Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe we should actually do that. I guess you are if you've got your journal and you're making your notes, right? But more intently. Because if you think about what I said about my friend saying, oh, whoa, I did this, and whoa, I did that, and whoa, I did that. And, I think about the things, my, I call them, past lives in this life, all the different hats I've worn. And restoring it, not necessarily from the hat, but from the wound, which is what we're doing in some way, but I've just brought it into a little more consciously intentful practice, if you wanted to add that. So we'll talk about that, how we can do that, because in my mind, that sort of sounds like fun. So your timelines and your mapping that you've done, looking at it, or having many eyes, right? The many eyes is that you're looking at it from a mapping and pattern, and where those patterns are in, your everyday life, your ups and downs and all the rest of it. And then we can have this other piece. So I'm going to bring it in for you so you don't need to think about it too much, where you're mapping the underlying story. So you have these storylines that are, rather than just saying, yeah, I was in the Navy or I was in the Army. Like, what was that? For me, I already know. I sort of unconsciously did it, because I looked at all the jobs I had when I was younger, sort of 20 to 30. And they were all around my survival and my independence. So everything I learned, it was so that I didn't need you. And they all started with the structural stuff like tenancy law, family law. I did politics, sociology, went into anthropology, went into social work and trauma, you know, and all these areas of understanding the world and, you know, of the police force, you know, like then the army, you know, all of these. So I could look after myself. I could protect myself on multiple levels. That was my trauma. Do you see? But at the time, I was just like, I couldn't see it because it was trauma lens. So, all right, I'll leave it on that and we'll pop over if you need a moment to go and get your clay. But it looks like you've come inside now, so you might. Or you could just do it with paper, I guess. But let me end the live stream and yeah, check out the link, and there's a bunch of new links there, and you can travel with us as we move forward. So until then, may the blessings be.